solid session. I was like, yeah, body feels good. Lean jeans working. Yeah, get me. I can feel something I've been passionate about since I was 6. You know what I mean? Harry's, you know, lack of concentration. He's always looking out at the running field, at the running tracks. You know, so I tried to go over him and that, and I was like. A consultant told me, you're never going to run again, you know that. Yeah. And I said, you're having a laugh. Well, look at them. Ding, ding, ding. You can't believe it. You know what I mean? But my mindset now is all about me being the best version of me. I had to learn to live in the stretching zone. Yeah. Comfort zone, you never grow. I need to overcome this. And it's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging, but I can do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, mate. I feel like I do, but it's a mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hello and welcome to Fijian, Ginge. I'm your host, Fijian.
I'm the co-host of Ginge.
And we couldn't do a podcast in Luton, Dunstable, with positive people doing good things without getting unks on. 6-time world champion, British world champion.
No, 6 times British champion, yeah.
6 times British champion, 2 times Scottish champion. Just smashed a record in hurdles the other day. Uncle Gary, Gary Smith even. Uncle Gary.
You forget my name? It's because you call me Uncle.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like habit, even on the phone when I look at the phone.
Oh, Uncle. Yeah, but, it's all good, man.
Yeah, just take us through over the weekend. You just broke the 60-metre hurdles record.
Yeah, so this weekend was the first indoor meeting. So the indoor really is from December through till March. So it's a short season. Then you got the outdoor from, say, April, May through to September. So that was the first meeting. We haven't prepared for it like to get ready for racing and be sharp. But we needed to go in and just get a little feeler, see where we're at. But Saturday was a championship. It was the Eastern Masters championship. Yeah. And so we entered that. And then I raced again on the Sunday. But yeah, Saturday... I had one run Saturday. I wanted to see where I was at, and I ran 8:69 for the 60-metre hurdles, which was a really good opener for me. Not usually running that quick, usually running about 8:8, and then come down to about 8:5 for the major champs.
Do you have a qualifying on them days as well? Do you have to run a qualifying?
No, as a masters athlete, you don't have to have a qualifying time or distance per se. But it comes down to you as an individual. Yeah. If you feel you want to go and do a major championships or a British championships or any championships, which is masters, then, you know, that's up to you as an individual. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and masters begins at the age of 35. That's when you become a master. So
then you do the one run on the Saturday. And yes. Then you have to go again on the Sunday as well.
So the championship was just Saturday, but then the Sunday was a low-key open meeting, but I had an opportunity of 2 races. So basically in 24 hours, I had 3 races. Yeah. So Saturday I ran, broke the championship record and set a new one. I ran 8:69. Sunday, first race of the day, I ran a 8:70, so it's literally 100th out. And then in the second race, which was about an hour and a half later, I ran 8:68, so I went even quicker.
Yeah. And what was the record originally?
8:89, I believe. Yeah. So
blimey,
done it.
Two attempts, which is
smashed it.
When in effect, when it comes to running, like them seconds, them milliseconds are like
it's a big difference, isn't it? Like a second in running is a like if you beat someone by a second, that's classed as quite a bit, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, in a sprint, it's probably equivalent to a tenth is usually equivalent to a metre. So 2 tenths is about 2 metre gap. Yeah. So
that's not bad.
So yeah, if you put it in distance, I probably broke the record by about 2 metres.
Bloody hell.
And what is the sort of training like for you? Obviously, you're an older man now, but you're still pushing your body to the limits to break records. Like, what is the training?
Is it still as intense?
Yeah. So, like you said, I'm a mature athlete now. So I'm 50 now, right? And so I competed up till I was 33. I trained at a high level, competed for England, Great Britain, and we trained a lot. But now I'm still doing 6 days training. But what I feel that's different now is that we still train hard. The intensity can still be high, but we train smart. So if something's written in stone, like 8 times 150 metres or something like that, then we tend to listen to our body. So after like 3 or 4, if the body feels good, you keep going. You aim for the target of the 6 times run or the 8 times run, whatever it is. But if I get to 4 or 5 and you feel a bit spent, or you know, because of life and work and home and everything else, or maybe your diet that day or whatever, then if it means I do 5 that day, then so be it. You shut up shop, because you're not going to gain nothing by pushing them
It's
next
too
3
much.
runs out
Yeah.
because when you're fatigued or when you're at that time of place, you can prone to injury. So I tend to train smarter now. I listen to the body, but fortunately, my intensity and levels and volume levels are really high still.
Did you have that same mindset when you were younger with the training and stuff like that?
No,
Not at all?
Not at all. No. When I was younger, when you're young, if it's written, you think, right, I've got to do it. So you might have been running and you've hurt yourself and you're thinking, oh, that hurts. But hold on a minute, I've got 3 more runs.
Yeah.
I've got to do it. Because in your head, you're thinking, if I don't do it, then I'm going to lose. I'm not... It's a silly mindset.
Yeah.
It's probably an immature mindset. But as you get older, you get wiser and you realise quality is sometimes better than quantity.
Yeah.
So if I've punched out 5 or 6 runs out of the 8 and they've been at quality, that's it.
Yeah.
Or I take a longer recovery in between runs. So if we were taking 3 or 4 minute recovery between runs and I needed to take 5, 6, 7 minutes recovery, and so be it.
That's what I mean. You need them little lessons, though. Obviously, you need the small little failures when you're younger to build the lessons up for now. Otherwise, you'd never know.
Yeah, nothing's ever wasted. You know what I mean? You never lose. You learn. You're always learning, and you know when you get older, you look back and you think, wow, I'd never have done it like that before. Oh wow! And even now, I'm not hard on myself in the sense that I set goals, I set plans, I try to stick to the plan, and then I look to execute the plan. But I try to get rid of expectations in that sense. I try to just be thankful every day. The fact that I can do what I do, the fact that I get an opportunity to compete, the fact that I have competed at a high level, I have made massive achievements. So although I've got a long-term plan, I focus on daily goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll reach the ultimate goal, and then it becomes a journey then.
Yeah.
Every day I'm thankful and think, oh, wow, yeah, I learned something today in training. Wow, that was good. Wow, can't wait to try that again. And then you get to train and you might work on something else. And all of a sudden you're adding things together. And by the time you get to the destination, 6 months down the line, which might be a major champs, all of a sudden it all comes together.
Yeah.
And so the journey itself is probably more important than the actual destination. Because you will reach there, but some people spend so much energy thinking, oh, the champs. Oh, it's 3 months away. Oh, it's 2 months away. Oh, it's... Listen, I just focus on daily goals, mate. Tick a box every day.
Small goals leading up to the big goal.
Yeah, that's one of the things I implement in my training now.
Do you implement that in everything?
Yeah, because what you learn in track and field, or for me, is lots of things that relate to life. You know what I mean? Lots of principles, being dedicated, being a hard worker. There's days I don't want to go training. I train 6 days a week. So there's days I think, oh mate, been at work. You know what it's like when you're on the tools. It's hard work, mate. It's hard work when you.
It is hard.
And people don't realise like what we do is physically demanding.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're
But-
knackered is when I'm knackered.
there's days when I come in, but I have to override that thought process. We're all going to get negative thoughts, or we're going to get discouragement thoughts, but it's about overcoming that.
Controlling the mind.
And so for me, I treat myself as an overcomer rather than being overcome.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean I don't have challenges. That doesn't mean things sometimes get the better of me. But like yesterday was an example. I come in from work after a hard day doing what I had to do. I struggled with my machine and stuff like that, and it was just a stressful day. And then I was meant to go and spray my mate's house because he's moving back in his house. My machine packed up. I ended up going home. I sorted my machine out. And then I said, you know what? I fixed it. I'll come. I didn't leave his house till 9 o'clock. So I didn't actually get to do what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
But it didn't faze me because I know I'm coming off the back of 2 competitions in 2 days, and the recovery is more important. So then I trained again today and had a solid session.
Yeah.
So that extra day of recovery, whereas before I'd have been like, oh, it's written down, I've got to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that would have taken you. That mindset would have carried over to the next day. You might have woke up the next morning still annoyed.
Yeah, or
I didn't get that session in yesterday.
Exactly, and then all that has a negative effect on you, and physiologically it can as well.
Do you feel like guilty if you don't train? Do you get like that feeling of guilt? Because some people do, don't they?
There's
They
a
don't
mindset
train.
that most sportsmen or elite sportsmen battle with. Because I ain't done it. But the thing is, one good friend of mine, a coach of mine, said to me something that was quite profound when I came back into the sport in 2016. And he said to me, if you're training and you do absolutely nothing for 30 days, it's at around the 30-day mark you begin to deplete.
Yeah.
So that was quite profound, because in my mind it was like, oh wow, because sometimes when you want to have 2 or 3 days off, people forget your body only recovers when you're resting. Your body, because every time you train, you're breaking your body down. And even though you might not physically feel sore, your body's in recovery. So I raced Saturday and Sunday. Monday, I felt great. I was quite surprised. I thought I was going to feel a bit heavy-legged, stiff, a bit sore, but I wasn't. So psychologically, if I really wanted to go training or go gym or do something less intensity, I could have done it.
Yeah.
But I know my body was still in recovery, and not just physically, my central nervous system. And so there's lots of things I've learned coming back into sport that take away that fear of losing something if you haven't been.
Yeah.
And so I realise how important rest is. I realise how important recovery is. And so having that extra day like yesterday, trust me, I went to the track the day after my session, trying to juggle that and be with you guys. It's just like, but I went and I had a sound session, mate, solid session.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, body feels good. The lean genes working. Yeah, get me. It's in operation.
These have got the lean gene. These they got the lean gene. And it's same with Laurel. I'm seeing him eating chicken and chips.
Mate.
The man can eat what he wants, and he's got the. But that's from working hard. Obviously, you were pushing them through the paces from young.
Yeah,
you know what I
from
mean?
young, they've always been involved in some kind of training or sport. Or Laurel obviously was football, and same as Lyndon. But they're always doing something, because I was always training and competing them. Obviously, there was a window where I stopped in 2004 till 2016, so that's quite a big gap where I wasn't really around the track at all. So Lyndon and my daughter didn't really know a lot about track and field and that, you know what I mean, until I went back into it. But yeah, Laurel was very much around that, so they've just got that mindset, you know what I mean, even now, really.
Did you not think of doing anything other than the flex then? Like, obviously, because they play football, they've played football from young. Is football nothing that interested you?
Yeah, when I was obviously at school and stuff, and then even outside, because the seasons are opposite, football and track and field are opposite seasons. So in the winter, I'd go and play football, but I'd play in goal. And I was quite agile. I was a really good goalie, you know what I mean? And I know in my heart, if I'd have applied myself like I do to track and field, I'd have been successful.
You can't be running 8 hurdles and 8-6 thingy and going in goal. That's a waste. That's a waste of talent now.
But you know what? Right wing.
But what it was my agility. It was my agility and my reflexes, which made me very, I was so agile as a keeper.
Cat.
I was, and my plyometric power, I could get up and this and that.
Yeah.
But I loved being goal. I wasn't bothered about being on pitch, but I wasn't passionate about it.
Yeah.
Track and field something I've been passionate about since I was 6. You know what I mean? I've always loved track and field. My school reports, teachers say, Gary's, lack of concentration is always looking out at the running field, at the running track. You've got marked out track. And if he could just focus a little bit more. But I just loved the athletics. That's something that was built in me, you know what I mean?
Yeah. While we're on the topic, when you started, age 15, you started your athletic journey. Who got you into it, and how did you bond with the love?
Well, first of all, I look back. If I look back at me as a little boy, I loved athletics from the age 6, 7, where I was always winning races and that at school. And then at 11, when I went into high school, I got beat for the first time. And I mean, it was just like marginal, you know what I mean? And it was like, I weren't used to that, thought, sack that, not doing that again. Yeah. And just left the sport completely, never done nothing again. But then my sister, Nikki, got into track and field. She's a very good athlete. All of a sudden, got me down the track. Once I got on the track, I couldn't leave it, mate. It was there.
Hooked.
Oh, my days. I was hooked. It was like, wow. So that was at 15. So at 15, I kind of had to learn to run again. Whereas when you're up to 11, you're just doing what you like, Eden, right? You're just doing what you do naturally. It's just natural. I had to learn to run again. And that was quite difficult. But when I was on the track itself, I was always trying to do sprint training and sprinting. And then I remember seeing Yudanka Donkover at the time. She's the women's 100-metre hurdles record holder. Oh, my days. She ran 12:26 or something like that. And she absolutely flew. And I looked at it and I thought, wow, I want to do that.
Yeah.
But their hurdles are low. And when I got to the track, even though I was 15, 16, the hurdles were like 3 foot. So that's quite high.
That is high.
Yeah, so I tried to go over them and that, and I was like... I weren't hurdling. I was like...
You got the game, you're in the athletics game, and you're just running through them, and you're like...
And it was like, mate... But one of my training partners who I train with now, a really good friend of mine, Des Wilkinson, he's older than me, so he was always like, when I was around 15, 16, he was probably around 22, 23. But when I was watching him train over hurdles, I was mesmerised. And that, for me, was like, I want to do that. It was more of a challenge than just sprinting on the flat. I'm not discrediting sprinting, but it was more of a challenge. And so for me, that's me. I want to do that. And so I used to watch him in training. And
could you do really quick sprints though? I could imagine you could do quick sprints.
I was quick, but sprints, funny enough, it's a very technical event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a very technical event. You can't. It ain't a case of just getting your head down and just running as hard as you can.
It was just sprinting.
There's
as
so
fast as you
many
can.
angles and things you got to hit and this and that.
Yeah.
And as hurdlers, we use speed, but we use a different type of speed. It's like hurdle speed. Yeah, it's a difference. We work on a pattern and frequency. Yeah. Whereas, and we've only got between the blocks and the first hurdles around 13 meters. Yeah. If it's the higher hurdles, 1372.
Sorry, let me move this up.
And yeah. And basically,
we're just interrupting this podcast for a quick sponsorship break. This sponsor is a sponsor we use ourselves. You don't get the best logos or thumbnails unless you head over to our brother at Ollie D Graphics on Instagram. He does everything, ranging from logo designs, illustrations, animations, and much, much more. Head over to his Instagram, shoot him a little DM, say the Fijian sent you or the Ginge. He might even chuck in a little extra. With excellent customer service, brilliant pricing, it really, really is a no-brainer. All his links are in the description, whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to us on Spotify. And now we get back with the pod. Thank you.
and basically, you've got to, for hurdlers, we need to generate as much speed as we can in that small space of time, and then we're locked into the race. And everyone does the 3 strides all the way down. Whereas sprinters, they've got a good 20, 25 metres, maybe 30 metres, some of the more powerful ones, to generate as much and then get up and start running.
Yeah.
We can't do that. We ain't got to, there's a hurdle in the way.
Yeah.
So 8 metres in, you've got a hurdle. It's like, wow.
So yeah, that's
Or
what I
30
mean.
metres
For
in,
people
sorry.
that don't do a flex, you'd probably, like myself, I'd just think of it as you're just sprinting, but then
As fast
having a
as-
jump.
yeah, same
then
as
having
me.
a
Yeah,
jump.
it's a sprint event, so it's a modified sprint. You just got to be really flexible and make room for the hurdles rather than jump in the hurdles, run, jump, run, jump. You got to kind of, it's got to be kind of fluent. It needs to be fluent.
Okay, yeah.
And that's something that takes repetition and hard work. But the speed side of it is a different type of speed. We use hurdle speed, which is more about frequency, you know what I mean, with our rhythm. So we work differently. We do sprint speed, but we also have to do hurdle speed. It's 2 different things.
I want to come to the injury. Obviously, you suffered a massive injury, which ultimately made you retire from the sport.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about the journey leading up to the injury and then the injury itself.
Okay. Yeah, the injury was in August 2003, but I came back to Luton in 1999, so it's about 4 years before. So I was with Shaftesbury Barnet Harriers. So I joined Luton. I was jumping well. And in 2000, wanted to go to the Commonwealth Games, yeah? 1998, wanted to go to Commonwealth Games. But 1998, I had a bit of a patella tendon injury, yeah? So we decided to keep training. I was long jumping then, I wasn't hurdling. And we were aiming for... because I was close to qualifying for Kuala Lumpur, we decided to work hard for 2002, which was the Commonwealth Games were going to be in Manchester. So I jumped 758, which was legal, and I was literally 12 centimetres off the qualifying, which was 770 for Manchester. But in 2000 and end of 2001, I tore my patella tendon a second time. I didn't know I tore it the first time. We thought it was tendonitis. So the second time I tore it was the end of 2000, and it was a pretty major tear. So I had an option of having laser treatment to break down the scar tissue and rehab for a year. And so we decided to do that. So we did that up to 2002. 2002, literally about March time, doing a training drill where it's like a resistance drill. Someone faces you, put their hands on your shoulder, and I just run them up the track. And I was doing that with my partner, and we got to you're in a low trajectory, you know what I mean? And you're driving. And he took his hands away, and then you can't get up. And I crashed to the floor, and I snapped my major ligaments and tendons that support and hold down the collarbone. So that messed up my whole year for 2002. Yeah. So after having a whole year out, having laser treatment and getting rehab, I was super strong, I was super quick, looking really promising for the Commonwealths that year. But then 2002, right before the season started in March, broke my shoulder. So that messed up me for another year because I couldn't squat, I couldn't power clean, I couldn't bench, I could do some light stuff. And as power athletes, there's certain conditioning we need to do. The strength and conditioning needs to be done regardless. So then 2003 was a bit of a tinker year, going through that year. Thought, okay, well, you know what? 2004, Olympic year, we'll aim for that, but I'll go for decathlon because I can long jump, I can sprint, I can hurdle, I can do high jump, I could do a lot of events and I could do them really well. So me and my coach decided, right, let's aim for Olympics 2004. And then August 2003, bang, chopped my toes off. Started hurdling again that year and the year before, and then chopped my toes off, petrol lawnmower, freak accident, mate.
You've had no luck.
3 years
I didn't even know about the patella tendon or the shoulder. I just thought
mate.
it was because of the toes.
No, so I'd never had any major injuries. Every athlete suffers with maybe a muscle injury or a muscle tear. I had a couple hamstrings earlier on when I was younger from hurdling, and that sets you back 3 to 6 weeks depending on the grade of the tear. But yeah, in 3 years on the bounce, mate, I had a year out to fix the knee. We fixed the knee, and then 2002 busted the shoulder, and then 2003 amputated the toes. So I had 3 major incidents, and even at that time when I had the accident, that was August. The season was finishing in September. The indoor season where we are now, December through to March. The consultant told me, "You're never going to run again. You know that."
Yeah.
And I said, "You're having a laugh." He went, "That's not what an athlete wants to hear, right?" I went, "Really?" It wasn't. Why? So he broke down the biomechanics of the foot, the big toe, the pressure, because I had 3 toes missing, but they saved one and I lost 2 completely, yeah? So my foot's like...
How did they save the one? Was it like not fully off?
No, because that one only had 2 fractures, one through the middle and one there, but they were clean, yeah? So I was able to save it, but there was a risk of obviously infection, being a lawnmower, so they couldn't promise they could keep it. So they were meant to amputate all 3 because then mutilated, so...
So what would have happened if they'd done all 3 and you just had the 2?
It'd have just probably been even more difficult for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I don't need to laugh. It's how he said it though.
You know what I mean? Or more of a challenge, you know what I mean? Or more for me to overcome.
Oh, fucking
Does
hell.
it affect your balance and stuff like that?
Well, the consultant said to me, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the big toe because that's the last point of push off. So that's your power.
Yeah.
Little toe's your balance, big toe's your power. So me being me, I didn't accept it, mate. I was like, nah, not a chance. I rung my coach. I went into theatre, had a 3-4 hour operation, rung my coach about 6:30 in the morning and said, you know what? It's not my jump leg, because I was jumping then. It's not my jump leg, coach. Anyhow, I run again. I'm jumping again. He went, let's not worry about that. Let's not worry about it. I went, no. So within 12 weeks of the actual accident, it took me 4 weeks to have the stitches out and it to heal and then my physio treatment and but within 12 weeks of the actual accident, I was back racing indoors and I was going over hurdles. And that's my lead leg that I got come down on. And I equaled my PB indoors and I ran half a second quicker outdoors.
That's impressive. That's
Yeah,
seriously
very
impressive.
Yeah.
Seriously
so
impressive.
I give God all the glory because you know what? Without him, I could never have done it. So my faith put me into overdrive.
Took you through the tough times.
Took me through all of that. And then at the end of the year, 2004, a year on from the accident, I proved them wrong. I even took my medals in and said, look, explain to me what you said I'm not going to run again. He went, well, blah, 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 blah. I said, well, look at them. Ding, ding, ding. You couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? So I was like... So anyway, at September, I then decided... I'm going to have a year out because I went into overdrive, you know what I mean? Mentally, physically, it was just hard work.
Was it hard to keep yourself motivated, do you think?
What? During that year?
Yeah, during all that spell over them 3 years and all them things kept going wrong for you. Everything was going wrong. Was it hard to keep motivated or did you always keep focused?
Yeah, I'm very much a positive person anyway, and life has a way of throwing curveballs at you anyway.
Yeah.
And we've got 2 ways of processing that. Either we're going to be overcome by it all, or we're going to have to say, you know what? I need to overcome this. And it's going to be difficult, it's going to be challenging, but I can do it. Yeah? And so that's the mindset I have. My glass is always half full. It's never half empty, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, there's a problem. There's got to be a solution. What is the solution?
It's champion mindset.
That's my mindset.
I love that mindset.
Yeah,
I think it's
a
a
brilliant mindset.
Brilliant
And
mindset.
so that was my thought process. And so how are we going to overcome this? So we did. And the green light moment when I had the accident was I was up the track with my friend and he wanted me to teach him how to hurdle. So I was showing him how to do a trail leg hurdle drill, which is just over the side of the hurdle. And I was telling him how to do it, and then I thought, let me demonstrate it. I was in trainers, right? And I didn't know if I was going to feel pain or anything. And I popped over the side, and in my head, I was like, no pain. So let me show you again. Again.
Show you again.
So I went, budum, budum.
Set them all out.
Right, okay. For me, that was a green light moment. I thought, well, if I can do that now, give it another couple of weeks of healing, I can do it.
Yeah.
And that was it. I was gone. That was it. And so during that time, my focus became on, I will be running again. It wasn't, I don't look at it as a disability, even though it is a disability. I don't look at it as a disability. A lot of people probably don't even know about it, only those probably close to me. And I just try to be the best version of me, mate. And if what I do can inspire, encourage or motivate anyone else to become an overcomer or overcome whatever adversity they've got in their life, and my journey or my story can help in any way, then job done, mate.
That's what I'm saying. That's a brilliant message as well.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that.
Job done. That's why I'm back in the sport. It's not really for me to collect these accolades. And yeah, I've always had a dream of being a world champion. I've always dreamt of being, but I'm still fulfilling those dreams.
Yeah.
But the purpose behind what I'm doing is for other people, is to inspire others, especially the next generation, the kids coming through. We live in a microwave society where kids don't know about hard work. They don't know about dedication. They don't know about resilience. They don't know about being competitive. Schools try to take out competition out of schools.
Yeah, they have.
That's bonkers.
Life
I've
is
heard about
competitive,
that.
and everything we do is competitive. Yeah, and when you take that competitive spirit away and try to replace it with something else, you kids get a bit lost. And I think that I don't ever see that I'm competing against other people. They're in the same race as me. I'm always competing against me. That's why it's called personal best.
Yeah.
Whatever I run today, I want to beat tomorrow or next race. So if that makes me competitive with someone, happy days.
Does that take the pressure off of you as well? Because
Yeah.
I used to find it when I was younger. Obviously, I thought I was quite fast, stuff like that. The first time I got beat in a race, I flipping called up sick and went home because I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
I swear to you right now, I couldn't take it. I called up sick. I was like, I'm a meal. I want to go home.
Making excuses.
Yeah, but this was young and yeah, so with my whole thing was like I'm competing, like not how you've seen it. I see it the other way around. Like I'm competing with them. Like I can't lose to them. I can't lose to them.
People, when you're kids, you look at them and you think, he's fast. Oh no, I can't do that.
You do think like that.
So for me, my mindset is, and I understand that mindset because I come from that mindset, yeah? But my mindset now is all about me being the best version of me.
Personal self.
Personal best. And doing my best. I can look back now after my journey, if I was ever to hang up my shoes and say, you know what? I know I set a plan, I stuck to the plan and I executed the plan. And the rewards and the success I've achieved is because of the hard work, because of the dedication, because of the wisdom, using wisdom at certain times in training. You know what I mean? And so I have that now to pass on to others because I've gone through it. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not just something, I'm not just talking the talk, I've walked the walk. And remember, I came back into the sport at 45. A lot of people have a mindset at 45, life is done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Midlife crisis.
Oh, you know what I mean? Yeah, but,
Tools forever.
They do, don't they? That's what happens to people.
but there's no limits.
You think their life's over.
We place limits on ourselves, like you just said.
Yeah.
You think, we place limits on ourselves. For me, I take the limits off.
No, that's why I brought that up, because I feel like the way you look at it is like, it kind of feels like, to me, it takes the pressure off a lot. Like, yeah, I need to beat myself. If he beats me and then beats himself, great for him.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just need to worry about me, sort of thing.
So I know if I want to be the best or make podium, always objective is to make podium, right? Gold, silver or bronze, that's it. And you never know what's going to happen on the given day. It doesn't matter about rankings, it matters about on the day. Who turns up? One, as masters, we need to negotiate the rounds, heat, semis and finals. So you can go and run fast in the heat, but some I've experienced, not me myself, but I've seen people, by the time they get to the semi, their body's crock. Or by the time they get to the final, they're crock because they've done 2 rounds. So you have to be conditioned, to go through the rounds. And not only that, you have to know how to negotiate the rounds. And so there's lots of aspects you've got to take into consideration, you know. So Usain Bolt used to say, if I can run 80% and go and qualify in the rounds, I'll run 80%. That's 20% I'm not stressing my body or my mind. So that's
I've never looked here like that.
That's where I need to be. So I know I'm talented, but talent gets you so far. Hard work will take you the rest of the way.
Yeah.
And so I work hard enough to know that I'm conditioned. I can run if I have to, like I did this weekend, 3 races in 24 hours. Because I've got faith in my conditioning. If I haven't, then like you go and run one, because high intensity races is so demanding on you. You might run at a high level in training, but it's nothing to races. Nothing to races. The adrenaline, the level you take your body to. So you have to be conditioned and you have to be able to handle that. You know what I mean?
And it's explosive. It's an explosive race as well.
Yeah,
So it's
so
like
explosive.
your body's just like tensed.
Well, not tense, but it has. You can only run fast if you're relaxed. You know what I mean?
Okay,
But
yeah.
it's just the whole build up, the adrenaline, the mindset. You know.
Do you get pre-run nerves still? Do you get nervous before you run?
Yeah, the weekend. Funny enough, I had nerves before Saturday, but I like nerves because it's an energy system. Yeah, nervous energy. Yeah. Depends on what meeting. Low key meetings. Once I'm in the season, low key meetings don't really stimulate me in that way. I just know this is a stepping stone. This has a purpose. I might be working on something particular this day in this race. I want to execute that. That's my focus. But then when I get to the major champs now, that's different because you got to contend with that nervous energy. Because it can make you or break you. Yeah.
Because some people crumble, didn't they, under the pressure?
Yeah, because like I said, it can make you or break you. So what I've learned is I'm competitive, mate. I love them at big arenas, but I can go there confident in my training and preparation. Yeah. So to execute, I look at all my major champs from the first one I had in 2017 and to the best that I could, I executed all my races. You know what I mean? All my races. Even at the World Indoors, when I didn't even medal, I come 4th. And between second and me was literally that much. Yeah. It was 500s, but it was I think second got 8:53, third bronze got 8:56, and I ran 8:58. But for me, I executed my best race because of my build-up going into it. Was my preparation going in. I was hindered a little bit because of an injury or niggle. So it as long as I do my best on the day, and that was my best on the day, it was my second best time ever. So it's all about personal best or your best or where you're at. I don't compete with no one, mate. If I'm competitive in a race, happy days. Don't get me wrong. But I try to be the best version of me, and that is in training and out on the field.
Yeah. You touched on it just then a little bit. 2017, obviously your first major win, silver medal.
Yeah.
What was that feeling like for you?
Mate. Oh, my days. So that was a whole new experience, right?
Yeah.
So that was mate.
Oh, here we go.
That was deep, but these experiences, like I said, you never lose, you learn, right? And these experiences build you up for the next time because you understand. So I remember running my heats, and on paper I knew kind of where I was at, but like I said, that goes out the window, mate. You got to execute your race on the day. And when I they take you you go and warm up, and then you go into a call area. Right, a bit like this. You sit in this call area for 15 minutes, 10 minutes before your race. Then they take you out, mate. I've never felt nervous energy like it. I'm sitting there and I'm like this. I'm like, oh, mate, trying to keep the mind calm. You know what I mean? And this and that. And I don't know who's who or what. I'm not bothered. But it's just like, okay. And trying to think about what I want to execute. And you're sitting there like it's all this nervous energy. So you're trying to control that. Because that's energy and it can drain you. So I just put my headphones on and just listened to music. Got calm, and that 10 minutes felt like half an hour. But when I got out there, mate, it was like, okay, business time. But once the gun went, and I got out my blocks, and I'd gone over the first hurdle, over the second hurdle, and I felt daylight between me and other competitors, I was able to just run. And I actually ran a PB that day, and I ran it into a 2.4 headwind, which is really strong. Yeah, it should make you slower, but I actually ran quicker. So I was like, yes. You know what I mean? So I thought, okay, cool. But then I had to go home to the hotel to recover the body and the mind for the next day.
Yeah.
Being my first one, Des Wilkinson, a good friend of mine, who's done the Masters circuit, is still in it. He gave me some words of wisdom because some athletes like to go out. It's a bit sociable. I was there on business, yeah? There's a reason why I'm there and what I'm doing. So I didn't want to compromise that. So there was athletes going out, wanting to go for something to eat. Not harmless stuff, but it's just energy I don't need to be wasting. So I went straight back to my hotel. I chilled and relaxed and just spent time there. getting ready and focused for the final the next day. But when I woke up in the morning, my hip flexor here felt a bit tight.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, so I tried to ease it off. And I remember going down to the warm-up area. And there's a warm-up program that I go through to get me ready. And the last thing I do before I go out on the track is like probably 2 or 3 fast blasts out of blocks. Over hurdle 1, over hurdle 2, over hurdle 3. Bam, get that CNS, boom, boom, boom. I couldn't do it because this was like... And I thought, I don't need to hurt myself. I'm in the final, man. I don't want to hurt myself. So then I had to make a decision. This is where wisdom come in. I thought, do I hurt myself in warm-up, trying to get myself ready and compromise the final and not even race? Or do I get myself semi-ready? I know it's going to compromise a bit in my start of the race, but at least I've got a chance in the race. And with the adrenaline and everything else, you know, if it goes in the race, it goes in the race. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Yeah. But rather it go in the race than go in training and the warm-up. So I got myself semi-ready. There's things I couldn't do, like the block run-outs and that. So I come out and got out. My first few hurdles weren't as quick as I wanted them to be. So one of my compatriots who's British, he's the European record holder. He's got out. He's a quick start. He got out. By hurdle 3, there was daylight. You know what I mean? He had a good metre or half a metre and a half in front. But then hurdle 1, hurdle 2, and then I had this Italian guy right next to me. He's still there, and I'm like, whoa. You know, and you shouldn't really be thinking in a race, you know what I mean? You should be just running. And I got the hurdle 3, hurdle 4, hurdle 5, and I think, this guy's still there. And so I then, in that moment, had to just say, be patient. Just be patient. Just trust the process. Just be patient. Don't rush it, because the minute you start to rush or tighten up, and we just held, and I think there's 10 hurdles, and it weren't till about 8th hurdle, I was holding my form. I was just holding my form, and then there was that little bit of daylight. Yeah. And I got over 10 running, and I'm like, you know? I'm like, yes. And so when I look back at that race, I know what I was going through personally, but I executed. I executed my best race. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that was a massive experience because I felt like there was little obstacles I had to overcome and have a taste of. But then that gave me experience for the next one, which was indoors in Madrid. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was good.
And good. Actual Olympians do race in the Masters as well, don't they? We were speaking about this the other day, but...
Yeah. Well, when I went to Prerun in Poland and done the World Indoors, at the World Indoors, there was a guy called Francis Oberquelu. He still holds the 100-metre European record. He took it from Linford Christie. Linford Christie ran 9:87, and Francis, I think, has run 9:86. Yeah. But he holds the European record. Well, he was at the European Indoors, and he won the 60 metres. he didn't win it by a mile either, mate. He had a hard race. Yeah. And then you've got James Beckford. He's an Olympian long jumper for Jamaica. He was there. He won the long jump. Dwayne Chambers. He's bobbed in and out. He still competes as a senior because he's still at elite level. But he bobbed in and out of thing. There's other athletes, you know, that have competed at international level that are still in the sport. And it's just amazing, mate. It's not something that's on mainstream telly.
No, it's not.
And if people saw it, it would be so inspirational. Yeah. To see some of these people from the age of 35, because you come at 35, right up to 100 plus, mate. You see some phenomenal people.
Really?
Phenomenal. And I mean phenomenal athletes.
You say 100?
100 plus. There's no age limit.
100 plus?
It's in 5-year categories. So say 35 to 40 to 45, 45.
But people at 100 are actually racing?
You get people there, 90 odd.
No way.
Yes, mate.
90?
Masters Athletics. It's amazing, mate. You'll be amazed.
Are they still quick at like 90?
The level is nuts. You get the odd one that's Superman. Like, for instance, there was a guy we met, an American guy at the World Indoors, right? His name's Charles. And he reminds me of my dad. Yeah. He looked like my dad and he's little like my dad. This guy was amazing. And we went out for a meal afterwards and he was there and we kind of socialised, asked questions, learned from him and this and that. And he was in his 70s. He's about 74, 75. And I talked about negotiating the rounds. He did the 60 metres. He ran the 60-metre heat, semis and finals. He did the 200 metres, heat, semis and finals. He did the 400 metres, heat, semis and finals, yeah? And he smashed the world record in every event. 60, 200 and 400.
Fucking hell.
And now his own records, yeah? This guy is amazing. And it's just like, when you sit down and tap into it, it's the same thing he says. I train when I feel good. I put in the extra bits. When I
Yeah.
don't feel so good, I just don't do it that day, or drop one off, or you know what I mean. It's
That
amazing.
is incredible
That
stuff.
is
But the times he was running is incredible. 26 seconds for 200 meters at the age of 74, 75.
Yeah.
That's
But what was more
crazy.
amazing was the 400 is 2 laps indoors. So he did 26 something in the first lap and carried on and ran 50 something in the final for the final. It's just amazing.
That is nuts. I can't
mate.
believe that. I thought there was an age. I didn't think there'd be people.
Yeah,
like
that's-
that old, like,
that's
still
incredible.
racing, but
Yeah, because it's not on. They should really promote it, because so many everyday people would be inspired, interested. I'll give you an example. There was a lady. When we sit and talk to some of these people, everyone's got a journey in their own
Yeah.
story, and you say, "Oh well, how did you get involved in athletics? Did you do it when you was young?" And some people are like, "No, I was just a mum taking my daughter or my son up the track." And then I thought, well, I'm here for an hour and a half. I might as well do a bit of training, and joined a squad and started running this and that. And this particular lady, she thought, oh, I'll do a bit of this, do a bit of that. And all of a sudden, she's doing hurdles, and all of a sudden, she's world champion, world record holder.
No, no,
And I mean, it is. It's amazing, mate.
You just never hear that.
no,
sort of
you don't.
stuff, though.
But you don't see anything about like these sort of athletics like hurdles and that until the Olympics. Unless you're a hardcore fan and you know where to find it. Like for people like myself and probably
It's not on
Liam,
mainstream.
We're not gonna find it. Do you know what I mean? Unless the Olympics rolls around.
If you, yeah, it's like YouTube. You can YouTube Masters Athletics or European Masters Athletics or World Masters Athletics, and you'll get to see athletes. Yeah, and even here in the UK, like Michelle Thomas, she's an ex-international athlete. She done Commonwealth Games. She's a high athlete. She used to run 400s, 200s. She competes now, and she's still running at 60s and 200s. She's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, there's amazing athletes. She trains with Linford Christie, and she was around, you know, a lot of top international athletes. So they're still in the sport, but obviously British athletics don't promote Masters athletics, and it's a shame that they don't, because it would be so inspiring. Because you know, you can, whether you're a senior or a youth or a junior or a master, if you attain the accolade of being the best in the world, then you're the world champion,
Yeah,
the European
yeah,
champ.
100%.
It shouldn't be categorised or specialised to only recognised as being a senior. In my eyes, that's just,
Yeah. The world champ's the world champ.
yeah, you know. So, but that's just how it is. But yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, mate. You know, the tournaments I've been at or the championships I've been at, it's been great experiences, and the journey itself is teaching me a lot about myself. Yeah, it's unveiling a lot more about myself that I didn't even know. You know what I mean? Because I'm having to push through, and then when you turn up on the day, then you realise, I'm realising, well, I can compete at the highest level. I actually thrive on that.
Yeah.
I don't buzz or get up for the lower key ones. You know what I mean? But when it comes to the majors, I've proved that to myself already. You know what I mean? And so, if that inspires the kids, I can talk that talk with the kids.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard. It's a struggle. But if you want to be good at something or successful at something, it's always going to be hard and be a struggle. Otherwise, everyone
would be
successful.
doing it. Everyone would be doing it if it was
Yeah.
easy, wouldn't they?
Yeah. So success leaves it leaves indications, it leaves clues. Yeah, if you follow the formula, you'll be successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but obviously you're not just successful on the track. You got a good business. You run a business, Transform Decorations.
Yeah.
What's it like balancing that and the track? Obviously, the track's your passion, but the business is the business.
So this time round, obviously, my business is priority in that sense, because it's the business. I built it up over the last 20 odd years. But at the same time, what I want to achieve through track and field for later on down the line has a purpose. So that's important as well. So I'll be honest with you, I've got to train. I train 6 days a week. So sometimes if I've got a gym session, if it means me being in the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning to get that out the way and then go and do my day's work because I know what my diary is or my schedule is, then I will do that. Or sometimes if my diary is so busy through the day and I'm not getting home till 6, 7 o'clock at night, and then I've got to spend time with the little ones or with my missus and this and that, then I will compromise. If I can't get to the track, I've invested in my own hurdles so that I can take them over the park. And sometimes at 11 o'clock at night, I'll be popping over my hurdles doing my drills. Obviously, people don't see what I do in the secret times, but that's what I do. And it's not like, oh, well, I can't do it. I know what I need to do to be successful for me. So there's no excuses. There's 24 hours in a day. I sleep 6, 7 of them. I work probably 7 of them, 8 of them. So there's still a load of hours left. Yeah?
It's just balancing.
I can choose what I want to do. Do I want to sit in front of the telly and eat, or just sit in front of the telly for 2-3 hours? Or shall I go outside for an hour and a half and do what I need to do? So that's what I choose to do.
Yeah.
And it comes down to mindset and choice. So
It's an impressive mindset.
Yeah, it is. I was speaking about it before. Remember, I was saying about the football. I come in like a sloth, and I'm like, I don't want to do football today, man. I don't want to go train. I'm going to get back late. I'm going to be tired in the morning. But they're just excuses, like you're saying. They're excuses because when you look at other people like yourself or the other people we've had on, they're all doing it. So I should be doing it, or etc.
Yeah, but it's choice, isn't it? If you want to be successful in anything, whether it's singing, music, whatever, whatever is your thing. Track and field's my thing. Yeah? If you want to be successful, you got to put the time in.
Yeah.
It might be, it might be researching stuff. It might be gaining more knowledge and stuff. Well, you got to put time in. It ain't gonna just happen. Yeah. If you want to learn about a certain product, you got to put the time in to understand it and learn it, and then you learn that way, don't you? And then you can do whatever. But a lot of people don't know that, or some people might know it, but they can't apply it. And so, I've been blessed in that sense that when I know what needs to be done, I do what needs to be done.
You get the job done.
And if I make up a mind, like when I decided to come back into the sport, I sat my wife down, I sat my kids down, and I said, you know what? I feel I've got a calling to go back into the sport, but I'm going to set a 5-year plan. And in that 5 years, the objective is to become British, European and world champion. That's the goal. Yeah? If I achieve it, happy days. If I don't achieve it, well, it won't be through not trying. And so me and my wife agreed. We've got a 5-year plan to achieve as much as we can. And we've stuck to the plan. And so I'm 100%. I'm in it. All in it. All in it. You know what I mean? And that means I've got to juggle my work. That means I've got to juggle my family time. That means I've got to juggle this and that. Yeah, there's sacrifices, but we know it's for a limited time for the long-term goal.
Yeah.
And so we've done that. You can't get anything or be successful without making a sacrifice somewhere. And some people don't want to make the sacrifice. Some people want to stay in that comfort zone. Me, I've had to learn to live in the stretching zone. Yeah, comfort zone, you never grow.
I do want to mention that because a couple of the other people we've had on have spoke about that. Obviously, we've had Liam George on recently. He spoke about the same thing about making yourself uncomfortable. Oh, how important is that for growth, for personal growth? Massive, massive, massive. Comfort zone is, you're always gonna have a limitation. You're sitting there. You can always do this. You can always do that. So for me, I have the mindset, if I'm the smartest one in the class, I'm in the wrong class. Yeah. Yeah? Some people, that's a comfort zone for them. I want to be the smartest one in the class. Those underneath you will evolve and grow, yeah? If they take from you. But you're not going to grow. You'll just maintain. That's right. So for me, I don't want to be the smartest one in the class. I need to be in another class. If I'm the smartest one in the class, I need to be in another class. So for me, if you hang with wise people, you become wise. So I've got an advisor. And I've happened to a good friend of mine who's an ex-Olympian and hurdler, Damien Greaves. He's my advisor because I know he has so much knowledge and that. So I approached him as a friend and as I said to him, listen, bruv, I ain't got long in this. I need to grow in this area. Can you help me? He was like, yes, I can. And I'll tell you what, he has taken me out of my comfort zone. Yeah, I can set plans for myself. I can do all of this and programs. I can do that. But there's no point because I'll get the same results doing the same thing. I need someone to input something that I've never done. Yeah, push, a little push. And that's what I've done. And he's helped me massively. And this whole last year has been a bit of a foundation year because he's had to strip me down from some of the things I know. He's had to put in, give me new things and help me with other stuff. And it's beginning to bear fruit. Yeah. But me as an athlete, I've had to trust the process. And every time he takes me outside the stretching zone, sometimes you think, man, this is a challenge. But then after a while, that becomes a bit more comfortable. Yeah. So the stretching zone becomes a bit more comfortable. Things I would never thought I could do, I struggled with, and through repetition, I can now do. And so once you learn that and master that, then you move on to something else. And then it's just, so that's where I'm at. Always want to grow, always want to evolve. What's 2022 looking like for Gary Smith?
I've got plans for the European Indoors, which is in February. That's a goal of mine. We've also got a goal for the World Outdoors, which are in end of June in Finland. So they're on the agenda. They're the main goals. And obviously the goal is to be the best version of me. The goal is to podium. And if it's God's will, the goal is to leave a bit of break some records and leave my name behind as a legacy. Just not so much for me, but to show people you can achieve whatever. You can set goals. There's nothing wrong in setting goals, and even if they seem like mountains, you do one step at a time. You'll get to the summit of the mountain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes it might be difficult, and so that's kind of where I'm at. So this year we've got two main objectives. With this pandemic thing going on, the last however long, there's been no majors.
Yeah.
So this is going to be our first majors indoors. It's coming up. But that's if it still goes ahead, God willing.
Hopefully it does.
Yeah, and then obviously outdoors, Finland, World Outdoors. So I've done nothing. I didn't even get to defend my world title. I won the World Championships in 2018 in Malaga, and I didn't get to defend my title 2 years later because of the pandemic. So
does that mean, well, obviously you're still world champion then, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm still undefeated as an M45, but I'm an M50 now, so I'm yet to take on the best in the world in that event. So that's another challenge. Even that in itself, because I've gone up an age group, my hurdles have changed in height and distance. So they've gone from 110 to 100 metres.
Yeah.
They've gone from 3'3" down to 3 foot. And that in itself
Does that make a difference?
Oh, massively. It's two different races.
Does that quicken you up, or is that something now you've got to learn and put a bit more effort into?
It's just a completely different race.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think there's then small margins.
No, I'd think
would
if
change
the hurdles
a race
were smaller,
so
you'd
much.
just be quicker.
Naturally, you think,
it's
I'll
weird,
wing
isn't it?
over them, but all of a sudden hurdles are coming at you at different pace. You got to be at different angles. You can't take them at the same angles you were taking the higher hurdles. You got to change lots of things.
It's a whole lot of preparation.
So the whole year has been me making that adjustment.
Don't realise what goes into all this, do you? I never
I was
thought
saying
that.
it to you yesterday when we were speaking. I was like, I didn't know. I'm not really a massive fan of a flex, so I don't really know too much what goes into it. But like, it's mental.
It is.
Like, so
It's
much. Like, the
crazy.
degree of it. Like, even when you're talking about the sprinting, saying like you sprint down for 30 metres and then you rise up and do it.
Yeah,
I didn't even
yeah.
know nothing. I thought you just run.
I thought you just ran as fast as you could. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. It's just you just run as fast as you can get.
No, it's very.
It's quite technical.
It's very technical. It's very scientific in forces and stuff like that, and how you apply forces, and and all angles of knees and elbows and feet and chin and all different things. Yeah,
It's crazy.
but you practice those things in training, and then when you get to race, you don't think about those things.
It makes you really appreciate how hard it is for them, don't you, when you hear stuff like that?
Yeah,
You really
it's-
appreciate what they
I suppose
do.
that's like if you get into if you sat here with anyone to do with their specific sport, there'd be something in there that like
You don't know.
you
Yeah, if
never
you
knew
speak to
about.
any elite sportsman or any successful businessman,
Yeah.
there's certain things that they've had to do or put in place or work at and work at and work. Repetition is key. So what repetition does, physically, your body builds a memory, but neurally, your body builds a memory, and your neural and your physical work together. So you think of a boxer, if he don't get into a ring and think, right, I'm going to throw jab right cross or jab uppercut right cross. It's something he's trained his body to do. So the minute he does a certain movement, everything follows.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because neurally it's set up that way.
But just like a robot, you're just
So when-
training your robot.
So when I'm hurdling, I don't really think hurdle.
You're in
I
flow
sense
state.
You're doing it
I just
without
sense
even
them.
thinking.
I sense the hurdles. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've done so many repetitions. So for me, it's about setting myself up, getting into and just running. In that moment, it's about running, preparing myself, warming up, and then just running. And then when you get into the race, you trust in your training.
Yeah.
Train the way you want to compete, and then compete the way you've trained. You just trust. They trust. You don't train one way and compete another.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? Training is preparation for race. So when you get to race, racing's easy. The racing's easy, really, because as long as your mind's on it and you've prepared your body, the racing side of it's easy. Train hard, race easy. If you don't train hard and prepare, it's hard to race. Because then in a race, you're always looking for... You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%, man, I'm with you. This is a question we ask everyone that's been on. It's kind of like
it's the question of the pod.
Of the pod.
Go on then.
Your most euphoric moment in life up to date. The peak of the mountain for you up to date in life.
Regards to track and field?
It can be anything.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one because obviously having children and that is massive. That's at the top. You know what I mean? As the topic's been about track and field, we'll talk about track and field. So the most euphoric moment for me would have been winning the World Championships in Malaga, right? And there's many reasons why. And I won that 2018. And the reason being was I'd only been hurdling since 2017. We prepared for that race and everything just come together. Everything just lined up. It was God's will. It had to happen and it was happening. And so when I got there and I got to the final, you talked about the adrenaline.
Yeah.
I'd never felt anything like this in my life. We were walking down the back straight with a lady chaperoning us down to the start, right, from the call centre, right? And all the athletes are out in front of me and I'm having to linger back, mate. I'm having to just like, I'm praying. I'm just like trying to think straight, you know what I mean? My body was like this. It felt like it was doing, I've never felt adrenaline like
you
this.
just literally vibrating.
Oh my days. That's how, from the outside, you'd have thought I'd been doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was having to try and control that. And it was the weirdest moment. But I knew from my heats and my preparation going into the champs, I was in a really good position, but you can't think too far ahead. I still have to execute this race. We had a plan, and I usually do 8 strides to my first hurdle, right? Most athletes do a 8-stride approach to the first hurdle. When we went to the champs, we switched to a 7-stride approach. That meant I was taking 1 stride out of my whole race, and the reason we done that was because 8 stride got me to max velocity earlier. So say at hurdle 5, I'll be at maximum speed. So then you have to try and stop the drop off. Yeah. The deceleration.
Yeah.
But hurdle 7 stride approach for me, the plan was I'm going to do 7 because instead of me getting to max velocity at hurdle 5, I might get to hurdle 7. So my drop off is a lot lower. Yeah. And that was the plan. But it meant me sacrificing a bit at the beginning of my race because 1, you're taking a stride out, which means I've then got to gain about 25 centimetres on every stride because it's more like powerful, bigger strides as opposed to going...
Yeah.
Yeah? So that for me, all the preparation going into that was massive. And when we walked down the back straight, that electricity was like this. And the nervous energy, I'd never felt nothing like it. But I'll tell you what, the moment I put my blocks in the floor, it went. And I was on. It was like, we're here, I'm ready. And I remember being in the blocks and the Italian guy next to me, Italian again, next to me, yeah, done a full start. And I've exploded out the blocks, right? Yeah, because he'd gone. You can't rely on the gun. Unless the gun goes again to call you back, you've got to go.
Yeah, is that why they always do go really fast on
you have to, because if you don't, and they don't call it back,
you're done.
You're done.
Does it put you off a bit, a false start?
Not in the sense, no. In the sense that you can sense he went, yeah, and the gun went. But I just, like I said, I just reacted and went with it, yeah. But after hurdle 1, they called us back. They've recalled us back. So I'd gone over hurdle 1, and it takes about, say, 2.3, 2.4 to get to hurdle 1 and touchdown, right? Well, the American guy, who was the favourite, yeah, still sitting in his blocks. Now, you won't get it, but there's an energy system that you use, and it only lasts for about 5 seconds. It's called ATP. It's the first part of energy you ever use, whether you're doing anything explosive. Well, I just used up half of that, and it takes about 6-7 minutes to get it back, maybe 10, yeah, to recruit that back. So I'd used up half of that, and you need that. And I used up all my nervous energy. So I'm trying to walk back really slow, yeah? Walk back really slow. And I see him over there in lane 3, holding it down, and I'm thinking, wow. Okay, and I just looked up, and my prayer was, Lord, you got 15 seconds to show off. Yeah, that was my prayer, honest to God, as I stand here. And I got in my blocks, and when that gun went, right, I got out, executed my 7 strides, which was quite challenging. Got over hurdle 1, over hurdle 2, over hurdle 3. By the time I get to 4, I can feel that momentum building, right? And by the time I got to 6, I was smiling, man. I knew. Oh, yeah, man. By the time I got to 6, I knew I keep this clean. I keep this clean. I keep this clean. Hands went up in the air. And if you see that race on thing, you'll see the American guy got out. Even by hurdle 4-5, he was still touching down before me. But how I felt in my race, I'd set my race up. I trusted in that process.
Yeah.
I executed that plan. And so for me, that was massive. And the reason we went 7 strike because we wanted to be strong on the back end of the race. It weren't about getting to hurdle 1 or hurdle 5 first. It was about getting to the finish line first. And it's a different race to indoor. So we executed that, and I felt that momentum building and building and building and building. And then when you watch the video back, you'll see by hurdle 8, I put him under pressure. His race went to whatever. I executed my race and I went through the line. And when I did, my hands went up and I knew I was now the world champion, champion of the world. Something that I'd been working so hard for. And I'd got halfway around the bend. And when I started walking back, it dawned on me, mate, and just floods of tears of joy.
That's brilliant.
It was amazing.
That is brilliant.
And so I would say that relating to the track and field, that moment, even now, it's just emotional.
It gives you
know what I
goosebumps.
mean?
Yeah, it does. It does
That's
give
why
you
I love that
goosebumps.
question so much. Because
Yeah.
when people break into the story
Oh my
about their
gosh.
most euphoric moment, it's like the energy. Because
Yeah.
when
You can feel it.
If this was on Zoom or something like that, you're telling me it's Zoom. But when you're in person, you're speaking to the person. I'm seeing the emotions on
The
your
passion,
face.
you can see the passion
It's kind of
for
like the room just like...
You can feel it. It's
You know
like
what?
electric.
It is, and it is. Even now, it's just so emotional just to think about it. Think about what I went through. Think about how it was, and think about all those little obstacles you had to overcome. And it wasn't even that. If we go back through that day before the final, there was so much schism going on in the call room and races getting delayed 40 minutes behind. Then I went to warm up on which was a big Astro, which was fine because we had hurdles. As soon as I got on the Astro, they kicked us off. We had to warm up on a concrete slab. A little bit of pathway at a world champs. So having to contend with all that and still execute and have faith in the process and that, and then come away with that gong, you know what I mean? It's just like, wow, it's not just me. I'm accountable to everyone, my whole support system, my wife, my children, my sponsors, you know what I mean? Everyone, my friends, my training partners, my coach, everyone that is supporting me. Yeah, because no man's an island, so I'm not there on my own. I'm a byproduct of my support system.
Yeah.
You can't build a house unless you put scaffold up, right?
Yeah.
They're my support system.
Your team, you got to build.
You have to have a team, and I've got a great team around me. My physios, you know, everyone, and to have that plan for me now, looking back on that, that's something I can even give to the kids, give to the next generation. You know, just trust it, set a plan. Oh, I have short-term goals, but have a 3-year plan. You know, like I said, microwave society, they want it now. Oh, what? That's long. That's long. It's not long. I'll give you 3. No, that's long. A week or 2 days is long to a lot of this generation, but it's just a mindset. And so, you know, it's really important, and it's important that I've done this. You know, I know that I won't be doing this forever. Yeah, it's not something I want to do forever. I love what I do. I love that it keeps me fit. I'll have other goals, other challenges. Yeah. But for now, this season that I'm in and what I'm going through right now, it's serving its purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Definitely,
man. That's brilliant.
Fantastic.
Nothing.
I'm happy with that.
Ray,
That was good.
Anything you'd like to say? Would you ever teach?
Yeah. Mate, giving back is massive, right? So at the moment, I coach. It's a form of teaching. So once a week, because of my commitments and my diary with work and with my own training hours, I'm giving something back. And I'm giving something back I've got a small squad of 3 girls and 1 guy. I'm teaching them hurdles, and you know, that in itself brings rewards because you're seeing them learning, you're seeing them growing and developing. But ultimately, I want to set up an academy where I can then go into schools and do some motivational talking, maybe do some after school clubs, maybe do some coaching weekends and stuff like that, and teach them skills through track and field, and also teach them life skills, impart some of them life skills, and definitely give something back. You know, and for me, if I can if it's any or many, if I can make a difference in one person's life, then my purpose has been fulfilled. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Massively. And you can't like save or change everyone, but if you can make one positive difference or impact in someone's life, you know, you talked about Laurel. One of the reasons, funny enough, inspired me was one girl that I used to coach back in the day. She said to Laurel, who's the same age now, 26, she said something on his Facebook one day and said, I always remember what your dad said to me when I was a little girl. And I used to quote to her, Nas, I know I can be what I want to be. If you work hard at it, you'll be where you want to be. And she's gone on to be really successful in uni and in life and that. And that was like, wow, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was something small. That was
something
just,
so
that was just
small.
saying something.
And so for me, I'm an encourager. I like to see the best in people. You know what I mean? I want to help bring out the best in people. And yeah, we've all got our rough edges and we've all got things that we deal with. But what's the point? The world, you know, highlights that enough as it is. You know what I mean? So let's try and help people to be the best versions of themselves. And if that means encourage them to think differently or do something differently, then yeah, give something back, mate. Definitely.
Nah, that's brilliant, man. We've loved having you on.
Oh,
we appreciate it. Hopefully we can bring you back on after the championship.
Yeah, that'd be good to get him
Show
back
off
on.
the medals.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on. Really
So I take
appreciate
nothing for
it.
granted. I have to work hard, but there may be someone out there working just as hard or harder.
No.
So I take nothing for granted. I'll go out and be the best version of me, and if that brings home a medal, then so be it. You know what I mean?
Fingers crossed.
We're going to link all his stuff. Obviously, you got your Instagram, stuff like that. So we'll link the Instagram in the thingy. Hopefully, we'll get that video of you talking about the race. And I should link it up at the same time. That would be good. I'll hopefully do that. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, like. Support's been absolutely amazing. We can't thank you all
can't
enough.
fault it.
We hope we can just keep bringing you these sorts of podcasts.
Keep doing a good job. Doing a great job.
Sam, thank you. Thank you, people.